Welcome to Writing Tips. My name is Joseph Jacob. Today, we are looking at the proper use of apostrophe. Apostrophe is used when showing possession. In doing so, some challenges might arise. Therefore, let's look at some basic things you must know when using apostrophe to show possession. When forming the possessive case of a singular noun, add an apostrophe and an S. Let's consider two examples. Mohamed Salah's goal is truly a solo effort. Take note of Salah, apostrophe, and the S to show that the goal belongs to Salah. Example number 2. The mechanic repaired Uche's car. Uche, apostrophe and S to show that the car belongs to Uche. The second point you need to bear in mind is that you need to add only the apostrophe when the noun ends in S sound. Example, we visited the Marines camp. You'll notice the word Marines. It ends with the letter S and with an S sound, so only the apostrophe is enough to show possession. The defense witness testimony is consistent. The word witness ends with the S sound, so an apostrophe is enough to show possession. But bear in mind that sometimes a word might not end with the S letter, but it has an S sound. In that case, you also use an apostrophe only to show possession. Look at the third example. For conscience sake, return the money to the owner. The word conscience does not have an S as the last letter, but the last sound it produces is S sound. So an apostrophe is enough to show possession. However, you need to bear in mind that personal pronouns in the possessive case, like his, hers, its, ours, yours, theirs, and relative pronoun whose do not need an apostrophe. Consider these two examples. This is his car. You'll notice that the second example has an apostrophe and the third example has an apostrophe and an S. Both the second and the third examples are wrong. The first example is correct because the word his does not need an apostrophe to become possessive. Another example, the boy whose phone was stolen came here. Whose is already possessive. It does not need an apostrophe. Let's progress to the other point you need to bear in mind. An indefinite pronoun like one, everyone, everybody in the possessive case requires an apostrophe and an S. Example, one's attitude is as important as one's talent. Everyone's international passport was checked. You'll notice the apostrophe and the S in the three underlined words. Another point is that in hyphenated words or in names of organizations and business firms and words showing joint possession, only the last word is possessive in form. For example, his brother-in-law's car was stolen. You will notice the hyphen that joins brother, in, and law. You will place the apostrophe at the last word and then the S. That is why the apostrophe is after the law and then an S. The second example, the executive secretary's office was burgled. You don't place the apostrophe after the executive. Rather, you place it after the secretary because secretary is the last word in this compound word. or in this hyphenated word. The last example is the name of a company. Susie 10 and Company's products are always good. This sentence is referring to the products of a company called Susie 10 and Company. You place the apostrophe and the S at the last word of the name of the company, and in this case it is company. So that is why you see the apostrophe and the S after the company before the sentence continued. Now let's progress to another point you need to bear in mind about using apostrophe to show possession. When the second word in a group of words showing joint possession is a possessive pronoun, the first word is also possessive. Look at this example. Brenda and my picture is wrong, because you are referring to Brenda's picture, not Brenda herself. So the second example is correct. Brenda's and my picture. The next point you need to bear in mind is that when two or more persons possess something individually, each of their names takes the possessive form. Example: Achebe's and Adichie's books are inspiring. You'll notice the possessive form of the name Achebe and that of Adichie. If you remove the possessive form at Achebe, you now have a sentence that is giving you the impression that Achebe and Adichie jointly wrote books that are inspiring. But you know, the message you want to convey in this sentence is that Achebe's book separates from Adichie's book, but that both Achebe's and Adichie's books are inspiring. So the sentence is correct. Another example is a valid receipt must have the seller's and the buyer's signatures, because you are referring to two different persons. The seller is different from the buyer, and each of them must have signed to make the receipt valid. Now, let's look at the second use of apostrophe. We have looked at using apostrophe to show possession. Now, we can also use an apostrophe to show omission of letters in contractions. You may be wondering, what is contractions? The way we write words are not always the way we pronounce them. In fact, while speaking, we omit some letters in words. It is those omissions we do that is called contraction. Now look at these three pair of words. Would not, wouldn't. We've contracted it. The O in the not have been removed and an apostrophe is placed in place of the O. They have, they've. In this case, the H and the A are removed and an apostrophe is used. The last one, has not. We now have hasn't. But you need to bear in mind that its and its are not the same. If they confuse you, check out our video, 20 commonly confused words. The link to that video is dropped in the comment section of this video. Try to watch it. The third use of apostrophe is that it is used to form plural of letters, numbers, and words. Here are some examples. There is 3 S in mistress. 3 5s are in his mobile number. He uses many ands in his write-up. We have to dot all I's and cross all T's before submitting the report. This is where the cookies crumble on today's video. Our next video will focus on another punctuation mark, this time hyphen. Make sure you don't miss it. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.